Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today's video I want to talk about Elijah Adebayo. Now of course he hasn't scored yet for Luton this season and there is question marks on whether or not he should be starting in our next game against Plymouth Argyle on Friday night. In today's video I just want to focus on him and talk about his strengths, talk about his weaknesses, talk about what's happened so far this season and talk about what needs to happen going forward. But before I do, please drop a like on today's video. Comment below your thoughts on the situation with Elijah. Do you think he should be starting the next game against Plymouth? Let me know. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. It's free to do so. So, Elijah Adebayo. I made the exact same video last season when we were in the Premier League. And on the back of making that video, Elijah ended up going on a massive goal scoring run of form. Got injured and you could say arguably he was one of our better players. Hopefully the same thing happens again with this video, but without getting an injury at the end of it. For me, out of the two between Morris and him, I do think he is the better striker. I think he offers a lot more to the football club. I feel like Morris can be very predictable, whereas Elijah can be unpredictable at times, and I feel like he can cause a lot more problems. He is younger out of the two. We know Elijah can score goals at this level and he also proved he can score goals in the Premier League. So whether or not he's good enough for this level, I don't think that's even up for debate there. He is capable of scoring goals. But right now, he hasn't got a goal to his name. The last two games, against Millwall and also against Sheffield Wednesday, he hasn't looked like he hasn't got close to scoring. Now the first couple of games, there were chances which he did have, which he didn't take. He's got like an XG of over 2.5, which means he should already have 2 goals to his name. Now, Elijah is a confidence player. Once he's, when you know he's confident and he's firing up, he could be unplayable at times. But right now, he is struggling. And it's not just on him. I do think there's other factors involved with Elijah. I think the style of football which we're currently playing, it keeps changing. It's not consistent enough, which doesn't help the situation. But then again, he's been starting every game. Morris got dropped. Morris came on as a substitution, as a sub, and ended up scoring a few goals. And now there's question marks on actually should Elijah be dropped now and we allow Morris to have a run up top on his own. I think first we need to answer the question: are we going to be playing with 2 strikers or are we going to be playing with 1? Now, I don't mind changing it depending on which team we are playing against, but as you saw against Sheffield Wednesday, and I mentioned this in my match preview, if we're playing against a team that's got a back 5, 3 centre-halves are going to be on Elijah. They can tag team on Elijah quite a lot, and that's what Sheffield Wednesday did. 2 defenders on him. He tried to win as many battles as he can, but most of the time, if a striker is up against 2 centre-backs, he's going to struggle a little bit. And that requires players around Elijah to get a lot closer to him and try and win those second and third balls, which we haven't really been doing. Also, the style of football which we're currently playing, we're trying to play up from the back, which means the ball is going to be in our own half a lot more than it is going to be in the opposition half, because we're trying to figure out, right, how do we beat the press? Which means Elijah's going to be very stationary. He's going to be waiting for us to beat the press in order for us to get into the opposition half, to create opportunities and to score some goals. But we're not getting the ball to him. Now, when we do eventually go long, as I've already mentioned, we're not winning the first battle, we're not winning the seconds, and we're not winning the thirds, which means the ball's just getting back into our own half, and it just looked poor. Elijah, I feel like at times he needs players around him to help him, because he can't do it all on his own. He needs to be centre in the box. And this is the thing, where at the first couple of games into the season, only him was in the box. When we were playing with Morris and Elijah, Morris was playing more as a wide player. It didn't really make sense. It didn't really work. And we're struggling to score goals. Now, I think going forward, Elijah needs to be dropped. I think he needs to have a couple of games, maybe he just comes on as a sub, and maybe that motivates him and maybe just helps him out a little bit, like it has done with Morris, with him getting 2 goals. I expect players to be professional when they get dropped. but I don't think we can keep affording to keep playing him if he's going to keep being nowhere near the in scoring goals for us. Last 2 games is a massive warning sign. Of course, the style of football, as I've already mentioned, does not help the situation because we're not getting into the other team's half as much as we would like to. So it is a massive struggle for him, and I can understand why he hasn't had as many chances. But I do think we need to, one, answer the question, what system are we going to play? Are we going to have a consistent system where we play with 2 strikers, or are we going to play with 1 striker? Or are we going to keep changing it? Are we going to play with a 3-man midfield? Are we going to play with a 2-man midfield? I do think the playing style has a massive impact on if a striker scores 20 or 15 goals a season. It does have an impact. And I can understand why he struggled, because we have been quite inconsistent with our style of football. Ideally, for me, I would love Luton to play a 4-4-2. I feel like our squad is massively built for it. But I don't see it ever happening because Edwards loves playing with 3 centre-backs. So there's a lot of question marks there. But right now, if you was to say to me who deserves to start between Morris and Elijah, I have to say Morris. When you've got Brown on the verge of coming back into the side, he needs to have some minutes. You had Moses on the weekend perform really well when he came on. So he's put his name in the hat on, actually, I deserve to be starting now. So there's plenty of competition. I like competition. I think it's healthy. I think it actually raises standards a lot more, because if one player isn't performing and you come on and perform really well, you're putting your name in that conversation that you deserve to start. Right now, I think there hasn't been any competition for Elijah until now. Morris has now got 2 goals. Now the question is, does Morris deserve to start? And I think he does. And I think Elijah needs a couple of games out of the team. Maybe come on as a sub and see what you can do. Because Elijah coming on as a sub is still massive. It still can cause plenty of teams problems. Against a Plymouth Argyle side, I feel like we can win a game. Against them, well, a lot of people will be saying we should be beating them. But if we haven't scored, Elijah offers something different when he can come on, a fresh Elijah as well. I feel like at times as well, he looks quite tired, because he's played virtually most minutes for us. He's probably up there in terms of how many minutes he has played for the football club since the start of the season. So I think some time out of the team could help him like it did last year. And then hopefully we see the Elijah of old. But he is a confidence player. Once he gets that goal, I do think he will kickstart his season. But it's taking too long. Our strikers shouldn't be taking this long to score goals. I can accept first 3 games into the season not scoring, but you know, when it gets to 5, 6, 7, it's starting to get a bit annoying, because this keeps happening with our strikers over the last couple of seasons. It's taken a while for them to get firing. So hopefully it does improve, and I'm not doing another player focused video about one of our attacking players, because it is frustrating watching us at times going forward, because we are a bit predictable. But let me know what you think down in the comments, and yeah, I'm interested to hear your thoughts on the situation. But yeah, those are my thoughts on Elijah Adebayo. Some time out of the team I think would do him the world of good. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.